Good morning, friends.
Good morning.
This week we are starting something a little bit different in Children's Chapel. We are going to be having two in-person services at church, one at 8:30 and one at 10. And so if you come to one of those services, we will be having a socially distanced Children's Chapel time and starting some new lessons in this book called Story Makers. And we're going to be talking about the stars. And so, but if you are not coming to services, but you'd still like to follow along and participate in our lessons, I can get you the materials so that you can follow along at home with these. So for today, Will and I will just show you how the story goes, and then if you want to ask your mom or dad to come by and pick up a book or the materials for you, you're welcome to do that. All right, Will, are you ready to get started with the lesson?
Maybe.
Okay. So the lesson one is called The Great City, and Will is going to be looking at this picture here in his stars zine over here. And Will, I want you to tell me what do you think of when you see this picture?
Legos.
Oh, say it louder. What did you say?
Legos.
Why do you think of Legos?
Because it's huge and you can make it pretty much anything to the limits of your imagination with Legos.
Mm-hmm. What do you think that building is?
A watchtower.
A watchtower. Ooh, what do you think they could be watching for?
God.
Think they're watching for God?
Yeah.
Well, I want you to take a little while at home too and be thinking about what this picture brings to mind for you. To me, it kind of looks like a sandcastle. You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, let's read our memory verse today, and it's Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. Do you want to read it or you want me to?
Yeah.
For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Okay. Now, so in today's lesson, it is from Genesis, and we are going to be talking about how some of God's people were doing some things that they weren't supposed to do. So after the great flood, God told people that they were free to roam the earth, but they went their own way and forgot their need for God. God's plan is always the right plan, and He will make His way whether or not we follow His guidance. So God created confusion with language, and people roamed the earth again to create new nations and cultures. So Will is going to help me read the story so y'all can know what's going on. I'm going to be the narrator. Will here is going to be God and King Nimrod. And then I'm going to be Queen Nimrod as well. All right? After the great flood, God spoke to the people, yet they did not listen.
Go and move across the earth from east to west. I have created many lands for my creation to live in. Roam the earth? I think we'll stick together and build our own kingdom instead. Together, we can build a tall tower and all the way to the sky.
Let's read this together. Yeah. Let's stay here and build a kingdom that reaches the heavens.
My people have made their very own plan, and it's not my way, Spirit. Let us go to the people and create confusion.
The Spirit of God came to the people, giving each person a different new language to disrupt Nimrod's plan.
What is all that noise I hear in the market? What are people saying?
I do not know. I could not understand a word.
What is that pounding on my door?
King Nimrod, have you heard the babbling in the streets? The builders and villagers have new languages and are leaving the city in caravans.
What now? My vision will never come true? If people leave, I'll never have my tower.
The people of Babel became confused and never finished the tower. Just as God planned, the world became filled with people with new languages and beautiful cultures.
Okay.
All right, so that's what happened in our story today. Now we have some thoughts to ponder. And will be looking at his field notes in his Stars zine. So Will, in this story, God created confusion by creating different languages. How many different languages do you know?
Probably over 1 million.
You know 1 million different languages and you can speak them all?
No.
Oh, you just know about them?
I can speak Australian. I can speak American. And kind of Canadian. Because they're pretty much like us.
That's right, yeah. They just have different accents, really.
Yes,
They speak
really.
English.
And
Did
British.
you know that there are over 6,500, that's 6,500 different languages spoken across the world?
It was close.
Yeah, you said 1 million. Do you know what the most spoken language is?
No.
Mandarin, and that's a form of Chinese. Have you ever been to a place that was so different from your home that they spoke another language?
Have I?
Well, we went to the Bahamas that time, and they do speak a different language, but you might not have heard it.
I think I heard somebody
You did?
screaming that language.
What do you think if you were in a place that everybody spoke a different language from you? How would you feel?
I'd try to figure out the language.
You'd try to figure it out, but
Yes.
at first, would you feel scared? Confused?
No, I'd feel happy and I'd be laughing because I didn't know what they were saying and I'd go.
Yeah. Well, what if you were lost and you couldn't speak the language?
Still be laughing.
Oh, okay. Well, you're very brave. Okay, so why do you think that God wanted the people to move instead of all staying together in one place?
So that they could reproduce and make more people, and so those people could expand the earth and make different languages.
Okay. Well, at home, I want you to think about why you think God wanted the people to move instead of staying all together. How would that be helpful to God? Okay, so our activity for today is to build a tower. And I want you to look around your house and see if you have items that you think would be good for building the Tower of Babel, like the people were doing when God sent all the different languages to confuse them. We're back, and Will has been working on his tower with Legos. I built a tower out of boxes, and you'll see a picture of that in just a minute. And Will, are you done with your tower?
Yes, kind of.
Kind of. I thought you were just in the middle of construction.
Yeah, they were just in the middle of construction when they all left.
Oh, so, okay. Well, when you were building your tower, you asked me a question, so I want you to ask it again.
What was it?
Okay, so the people were trying to build a tower to heaven.
Yes.
And so you asked me a question about that.
So they were trying to beat God?
No, they were trying. So when I said they were trying to build a tower to heaven so that they could have their own kingdom and not have to spread across the earth like God told them to, Will said, well, why was God mad that they were trying to build a tower to heaven? Because they were trying to go to heaven, and that's a good thing. But I don't think God was mad that they were trying to get to heaven. I think that God created the confusion to send them out and spread them across the world, because that's what he wanted them to do in the first place. He didn't want them to stay all together, and he didn't ask them to build a tower to get to him. So the reason that he punished them, so to speak, for trying to build that tower is because they didn't listen to what he said. So what they were doing wasn't necessarily bad or wrong, but it just wasn't what God wanted them to do right then. Did you get anything else from the story?
No, not really.
Oh, okay. God talks with an Australian accent?
Yep.
All right, well, let's close in prayer, okay? Will you hold my hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Gracious and loving God, we give you thanks for the instructions that you give us, and we ask that you will open our ears so that we can hear what you want us to do, and that we will obey you when you show us and tell us what you would have us do. Amen.
Amen.
Have a great week. Go in peace.
Peace out.